Okay. So you did continue to do your studies, which
Yes, I
meant you
did.
had to go to college every day as well.
Yes. Yes, doctor.
And what was the support from your educational institution and colleges? Did you have any special support?
Yes, my HOD was of great support to me. I mean, after my diagnosis, I got second opinion from many other doctors as well, and they suggested that I discontinue my studies because when I was diagnosed, they started me on maximum medication, and my activities also were limited. And but when my parents spoke to my HOD saying that I needed help, that the doctors told me to discontinue studies, she was totally against it. I was a good student and I didn't have arrears, and my college also didn't have an elevator, and my class was on the fifth floor. I couldn't do those stairs. So she had a discussion with my dean and all the higher officials in college, and they shifted my classroom to the ground floor. And even while writing exams, I used to write them in a special classroom, whereas all my classmates would have a different seatment arranging. And my friends also were of great support to me. Whenever I felt ill, they used to drop me back at home. They used to get special permission from the staff, and we also used to have group studies during semesters. So basically, I never missed out on anything in college, be it studies or fun, whatever it is. I had the most of it.
Fantastic, fantastic. I think Prashant here this underscores the importance of the social support for patients, especially when they are going through this trying times. And I think Deepika was quite lucky in that. So when did you start? When did they start, in addition to the medications, oxygen therapy?
Uh, Oxygen was started 1 year prior to transplant. That was
One
in
year.
2015. Yes.
Okay. So I think you saw me first in 2015 March, correct?
Yes.
Okay, okay. What happened then? How was your morale at that time and how did you feel?
Um, uh, when I came to you in 2015, my symptoms were at the worst because I was turning blue, and there was a lot of pain in my extremities. I could not eat, and there was a lot of fluid restriction, water retention, and and you suggested that I go on oxygen full time, and I think you gave me 3 tests first to see whether I need an assessment for heart and lung transplant. And I did my 6-minute walk test, and I could walk only 250 meters. And my NT-proBNP was very high, and my echo showed that my heart was enlarged. It was in a bad shape. And right away, you admitted me for an evaluation for heart and lung transplant.
And we got you evaluated, I think probably in a month, but you know, you had to think about it and then you
Yes.
agreed to get listed in August.
Yes, doctor.
So we assessed her and we found that she needed a transplant. And from my point, I was getting a little anxious because Deepika did complain of giddiness. Now, giddiness is a worrying symptom for me. But she did agree to have a transplant in September. And what I can say is, I had my initial concerns. You know, Deepika was a transplant candidate, but she's very young, and she took her time in agreeing for transplant. So I was really worried that she might prove to be a slightly difficult patient in not, you know, following our instructions and, you know, following the do's and don'ts. But she surprised us all by being an absolute model star patient, and from the word go she allowed and followed all instructions, because the instructions can be quite, you know, the first 1 year quite strict. She had a transplant on the 14th of February. I think on the 9th day we got her home. She went walking home with no oxygen. And tell me, how did you feel after the transplant?
After definitely the difference in the quality of life, there's a drastic improvement now. Prior to transplant, as I told you, I would throw up. I used to get migraines which lasted for 3 to 4 days. I cannot get out of bed, and sometimes when I go to the toilet also, I would lose my consciousness. uh, After transplant, and I was dependent on my mother for everything. So even to bathe and dress up, she used to help me. And now I've just gained independence. I can say I can do all everything on my own. I couldn't speak continuously for 2 minutes, but now I can speak a lot, and I can do things on my own. I don't need oxygen. I can eat eat well, and there's no fluid restriction. That was the main part for me. The fluid restriction was killing me, and I can drink as much of water I want now. And my pH symptoms are not there, and I don't take any of the pH drugs except for the anti-rejection medicines. Surprisingly, I'm able to do household chores also. During the lockdown, I could cook, and now I'm able to walk around 4 kilometers a day. Though I have some kind of wheeze on and off, but something that was beyond my comprehension before transplant was I was able to help my mother in sweeping and mopping the floor. That was kind of surprising even to me and my family. So I can be productive in many ways now, and I still do take precautions to avoid infections. But overall, by the grace of God and the support from Dr. Sundar's team and all the nurses and all the continuous treatment that they are giving me, and with the help of my parents, I can do all the things that a normal person can do.
Fantastic, fantastic. I mean, this is superb, Deepika. Well done. And this again underscores that, when transplant is done at the right time, I think patients with pulmonary artery hypertension, when they have a transplant, they tend to do better. As you can see in Deepika's case. Thank you. I'm signing off, Deepika.
Thank you, doctor.